girls are recognized as experts of their own experience. Corinne Field and Lakeisha Michelle Simmons argue that little attention has been given to Black girlhood, and that distinguishing stages of girlhood, early childhood, adolescence, young womanhood, reveals how each generation first learns about race, gender, and class domination in their families, friend groups, neighborhoods, and cities. This, I argue, is also true for how Black girls learn theological concepts at each developmental stage of life. Black girls are a legitimate source of theological knowledge. When Black women reflect on their lives, many of them tell stories of faith exploration from their childhood. To be sure, many spiritually oriented Black women did not grow up in church, have had different religious and cultural upbringings, or may not have had any spiritual or religious guidance. We were not all raised in the same way. However, for a specific subset of Black women who grew up with Christian influences, theology began on the margins of Black girlhood. Concepts like prayer, scripture, justice, suffering, and the image of God were first formed in our minds as girls. Katie Cannon, who has been widely recognized as the founder of the womanist movement, once reflected on thoughts she had as a Black girl at age 3. She explains how she went to a Lutheran kindergarten where she learned the Beatitudes, the 10 Commandments, about sin, and about the love of God. She explains that while being exposed to these teachings, her young mind struggled to understand them alongside the paradox of her own context. She says, "Yet I couldn't understand, and this is a theological question at 3 years old, what Black people had done where we couldn't go to parks or skating rinks or the library." The beginnings of her womanist frameworks were formed right there at age 3. This audiobook presents a theology from Black girlhood. Womanish theology comes closest to this thought because it is a religious framework that centers the perspectives and experiences of Black women. The womanish tradition naturally assumes Black girlhood and does consider the experiences of Black girls, but I argue that Black girlhood interpretations of theology need their own category. In the preface to her 1983 book, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens, Alice Walker provides a thorough explanation of the origins of the term womanist. 1. From womanish, opposite of girlish, i.e., frivolous, irresponsible, not serious. A Black feminist of color. From the Black folk expression of mothers to female children, you acting womanish, i.e., like a woman. Usually referring to outrageous, audacious, courageous, or willful behavior. Wanting to know more and in greater depth than is considered good for one. Interested in grown-up doings. Acting grown up. Being grown up. Interchangeable with another Black folk expression, you trying to be grown. Responsible. In charge. Serious. Womanist comes from womanish. According to Walker, womanish, though sometimes seen as derogatory, was how Black mothers described their female children. Oftentimes, these girls were interested in grown-up doings. In What Manner of Woman, a short documentary film created by the Womanist Institute, the narrator expounds on the unique nature of the term. Taken from the Black Southern expression, you acting womanish, mamas, nanas, aunties, church mothers, and other mothers confirmed, critiqued, and challenged their girl children to ensure that they not only survived, but thrived in a world often configured to destroy their creativity, intelligence, and womanhood. Renita Weems continues that clarification, saying that womanist comes from the Black kind of Southern folklorish way of talking about you are womanish, meaning that you are fast. It means that you are bold. It means that you break boundaries. Though womanish is more of a behavioral term, I would like to adopt it for the purposes of naming this new theology, particularly since it's at the root of the term womanist. Womanist equals theology of Black womanhood. Womanish equals theology of Black girlhood.